Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitayah Pataye Namaha. Om Shri Ramachandraya Namaha. Atulita Baladhamam Hema Shailabhadeham Danujavana Krishanum Jnaninam Agraganyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatan Namami. Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatan Namami. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Dhyayami Chinmayanandam Gurudevam Mahamatim Prema Purnam Kriyashilam Sada Lokahite Ratam Kripalum Sundarakaram Samartham Satyadarshinam Vacha Tattva Prakashinya Shoka Moha Vinashinam. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Namah Shri Tulsi Dasa Sadvarishtaya Dhimate Puritam Hridayam Yena Rama Premamrite Name. Om Shri Tulsi Dasaya Namaha. Hari Om, a warm welcome. Goswami Santa Tulsidas Ji earlier described the glory of Rama Nama Vandana, and he also talked about, yesterday we saw, the glory of Rama Katha. Now he takes up another very important topic. But before I take this, I would like to mention a few important points rather. Whenever we see that there is a child in a house, We see the elders bringing up the child, and more often than not, very rarely it is different, but in most, if not all of the cases, a child is given lots of values, not by just saying you have to be truthful, you should not tell lies, you should not do this, you should do that. The child may not even understand properly. So what does the parents do or the grandparents do? They take the attention of the child first and then tell them stories. Is it not? Why do they tell a story? So that that story attracts the attention of the child, and when the child is very attentive, when the child is very desirous of listening to the story, the silent injection into the mind, into the intellect, into the heart of the child are the value systems. Is it not? Even in the schools we have classes where some stories are told, in the kindergarten or even the nursery classes. A story is told, and very, I cannot, label them in any form. Moral of the story, and then a moral is told after the story. But when the story is narrated in such a beautiful form, the moral need not be declared, the story itself communicates the real moral. What is to be communicated? Is it not? Now the issue here is, we normally take the story, we listen to the story like a story. But we don't have any faith in those moral values because there is a very strong notion in our mind that all the moral value systems, all those things will not work in this age. Swamiji, ye to Kali Yug hai. All those things will not work. Truthfulness will not work in today's world. In fact, if you are truthful, you will have to become a doormat where everybody will stamp. So I don't want to become a doormat. So I don't want to be truthful. Look at the way now how we think. But in those days, in the childhood, when such stories are told, the value system enters the child's heart, and that remains as a strong knowledge inside. And therefore, now please note the connectivity. When my mind starts looking differently and wants to do something wrong, there is an inner voice. I am sure all of us, every one of us are in this position, in this condition. Whenever something wrong would happen, there is an inner voice coming in to say, hey, what you are doing is wrong. What you are doing is incorrect. It should not be done. Try this. This is a better way of doing. This is what you are supposed to do. Is it not? But however, we fall prey. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichchanapi varshneya baladivan yojitaha kama eshaha krodha eshaha rajoguna samudbhavaha. These lines we must imbibe very clearly in us. In spite of it, we might still go for doing wrong. Why? Because of habits, because of vasanas, because of irresistible demand for pleasure. Think. And therefore, the stories are given in the childhood. Why? In childhood, there is no much of questioning involved. There is no much of ahankara there. But The child listens to it and slowly, it is a clean slate. The child's heart, the child's mind is a clean slate. Therefore, you can write whatever you want, but it all depends on what you write on the slate, because that slate can never be erased. That slate is eternal in the heart of the child. Therefore, stories becomes a very, very important factor for characterization of an individual. Here in Ramakatha, the story of Ramakatha gives such beautiful, powerful value systems which can change our character. Why do I say change? Because we have already developed a character of us. But wherever there is good character in us, we can easily relate to it. Wherever there are bad characters, again we can relate much more easily with Ravana, Kumbhakarna, etc., etc. So we have that ability to relate. But at the same time, the sixth sense which are given to us, the intelligence that is given to us, the ability to discriminate between the right and wrong, good and bad, which is there in, what do you call it as? Born characters, they say. But we don't develop many of them. But they are there, inbuilt, okay. Inbuilt characters. What is that? Good. Values. All those are there in us. When we go to do something wrong, we do it. That's a secondary issue. In spite of it, we do it. But while we are doing it also, there is one inner voice which says, hey, this is not right. It is incorrect. Yes or no? Think for yourself. But then what do? I know that. We brush it aside. Why? Instant pleasure I get. I will think about it later. You please wait in the waiting hall. I will finish my think. Therefore, Sant Tulsi Das ji here in Ramayana, right from the beginning has given us so many important factors, and now from this in this Chaupai, he will give the characterization of the very character of Ramchandra ji, which is otherwise called Gunagrama. What is Gunagrama? The Guna, the character of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji. And when we come to know, earlier what did we say? After telling the story, we say moral of the story. It is also printed. In fact, if the story is so good and if it is narrated very nicely, that moral of the story is redundant. Why? By the time we complete the story, the children would have got the message. I often give one story to the children. I will take a little time. Doesn't matter. I will tell the story. The idea here is how a story builds or makes the child recognize the value system. This was a story that was told by my mentor, Pujya Swami Brahmananji. It has stuck in my inner, system so hard. There was a school, a village school, and lot of children who are studying there. In the break time, lunch period, they would come out, have their lunch, and there used to be one old lady sitting and, selling groundnuts. So some children, it was a village, not everybody could afford even those days. Some children would go, maybe 25 paisa. They would give and take. She would make a patna, we call, in Pottanam we'll say in Tamil. You all know one paper, she would make a cone kind of a thing and then put with that small measure and give. So there were 3 boys in one particular class, let us say 5th standard. 3 boys, very beautifully named by Pujya Swamiji, Bhima, Soma, Rama. One day, after the afternoon, they come together, they always are together. They sit down, have their lunch, and previous day they would have taken a decision, we will go and buy groundnuts tomorrow and we will eat. So they would have asked their parents, and 25 paisa they would have given, so they came. And then the first, Bhima takes the 25 paisa, throws at that old lady. Hey lady, give me groundnuts. So that old lady will search where, because she has thrown, so she searches and she finds and she takes, puts it in that small cloth bag which she has, and then tugs it in. And then what she does, she takes one paper, covers, and then puts it, gives it. Then the second boy comes. First one is Bhima. Second one, Soma. Soma comes. Ajji. Ajji in Kannada means grandmother. Old lady. Ajji, take 25 paisa. Give me groundnuts. So she takes it from his hand, again puts it in the cloth. Gives, take. He goes. Then comes the little fellow. He's a smaller fellow. Bhima is like Bhima only. Soma is normal sized. And this Rama is a short fellow, very cute little fellow. He comes around this one, sits next to that lady and gives her 25 paisa. Ajji, take 25 paisa. Please give me groundnuts. So she looks at him, smiles at him, takes that 20 paisa, again puts it inside, and then she gives. And all the 3 go and sit down in one place, sit there, and then now they have to eat. Bhima says, hey, open, all of you open. So all of you open. Don't eat. Huh? Why? Ship. Okay. Then he looks at his packet, looks at Soma, looks at Rama. Soma, count how many groundnuts are there in yours. But why? Count. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 groundnuts were there. Rama, you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 10, 14. Now he opens and counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8. Bhima got only 8. Soma got 10. Rama got 14. He said, don't eat. Come with me. I will go and bash that old lady. She can't even see properly. She can't even measure properly. They go to that old lady. Oh, old lady. Huh? How much did I give? 25 paisa. How much did she give? 25 paisa. How much did he give? 25 paisa. All the 3 of us have given 25 paisa. I have got only 8. He has got 10. And he has got 14. Rama got 14. How is it possible? Then the grandmother says, Bhima, all of you gave 25 paisa only. But Rama gave much more than 25 paisa. He not only gave 25 paisa, by cash it is only 25 paisa he gave, but he has given much more. What is that? When I asked the children wherever I went, the children would raise their hand and said, Swamiji, I will tell. What? He gave respect to that old lady. He gave love to that old lady. He was very humble to that old lady. See? Even though all the 3 gave the same thing, but the third fellow has given much more than 25 paisa, not in cash form, but in terms of respect, in terms of love, in terms of being humble. Look at, this is how the stories bring in character of a person. It molds the character of a person. Therefore, Tulsi Das ji in this Chaupai brings in the character of Ramchandraji in such a format, that is why it is called Gunagrama, wherein in this Katha you will find, when we say Gunagrama, the life of the person is explained. The works of the person is explained. The character, the virtues, the value systems that person entertained, that was also given. Gunagrama includes teaching. And fifth one, it is demonstrated. Therefore, in this particular section where Tulsidas ji gives the Gunagrama of Sri Ramchandra ji, all these are included. When all these are included, while listening to the entire story, what happens to us? First and foremost is, those characters of Sri Ramchandra ji, Sita ji, Lakshman ji, Bharat ji, Shatrughan ji, all of them, or even Hanuman ji, Sugriv ji, Jambavan ji. Why? We should also include Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishan ji, of course we have told. All of those characters become clear, and then the mind is able to discriminate between right and wrong, good and bad, positive and negative. Why? During the childhood, those stories which were told by the grandmothers have got instilled in the very character of the being. Therefore, with that base, foundation given by my grandparents or my parents or maybe even my sisters and brothers, that becomes the foundation. And when I listen to Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji's Katha, there is an easy recognition of values, virtues and vices. Whenever values are heard, virtues are indicated, those values and virtues which are there in me become stronger and stronger. And those vices which I might have, why all of us have, many of them, not one or two. Virtues are very little, vices only we have more. When that vices are being depicted, my mind becomes attentive. Oh, this vice has brought this end for that person. I also have got vice. Therefore, I must come out of it. It removes the impurities of my mind. When the impurities are removed and cleansed, when my mind is cleansed, there is that space available for refilling what? All the value systems. Therefore, Gunagrama of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji removes the impurities and purifies the very system in me. The quality and texture of thoughts that I entertain becomes more valuable, becomes more beautiful, and I become more respectable. Think. Removal of impurities, purification process, and then detoxification process also takes place. What is detoxification? We all have got so much of toxins, isn't it? What do you say? The wrong system in me are cleansed, and through that it bestows great amount of virtues, and virtues makes the character. Parampuja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji very beautifully would say, or rather all the acharyas have told, it's a very common factor. Thoughts make the mind. Mind is what? Mind is not a container in which thoughts are there. Thoughts itself is the mind. Right? The quality and texture of thoughts that we entertain, which we call it mind, decides the action. Because action by itself is not possible. action is always ordained by, provoked by, motivated by, instigated by, pushed by what? Thoughts. Even my little finger's movement is because of thoughts. Not by itself it cannot do. Why? Sharira is what? Panchamahabhutani Akasha Vayu Agni Jala Prithvi. And all are matter. Matter cannot act by its own. It is inert and insentient. Therefore, whatever actions I do, they are commanded by my thoughts. Thoughts, as the thoughts, so the mind. As the mind, so the habit. Think. Continuous flow of thoughts creates habit. As the habit, so the character. Think. The character of a personality is formed by what? By his habits. By himself or herself, by birth, nobody is bad or good. The goodness in a person and the vices of a person are all developed over a period of time because of the quality and texture of thoughts that are entertained time and again. The entire Ramayana, please note, the entire Ramayana depicts every single character there, and the character becomes the representation of a particular value system, good or bad. Here, why I am saying all this is because we should understand how we should listen to Ramcharitamanas, Tulsi Ramayana. Normally, when you listen to the story, Ramayana, oh God, again same thing, I know everything. But what have we done with it? Tulsidas ji takes such a lot of time. Why I am saying all this? We have to understand why we have to listen to Ramayana. Tulsidas ji depicts the complete characterization of Rama and all other characters in such a fashion that it is not only powerful in its own place, but it is also very powerful and brings in a qualitative change in our personality. And this is the very purpose of all Ramayana. Not only Ramayana, you call it Bhagavatam, you call it Mahabharata, which is called as a Panchama Veda. Mahabharata is called Panchama Veda. Isn't it? Or you take any other grantha, any other scriptural texts, you will find it all matters with reference to characterization of whom? Not others. My own self. It depicts what kind of a person I am. It depicts what type of a person I should be, and it also depicts what type of a person I should not be. As it is said, habits die hard, they say. True, agreed, accepted, endorsed, acknowledged. What? Habits don't easily go. As I always say, the word itself says, remove H, a bit remains. Remove A, bit remains. Remove B, it remains. This is habit. Is it not? But the same habit can be changed when our inner value system changes. If there is a line without touching, how do I make it smaller? Write a bigger line next to it. Isn't it? Very common examples. Oft quoted examples by everybody. Right? Similarly, the characterization of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra ji is so beautifully depicted in Ramayana that you don't have to worry about what habits you had. You don't have to worry about what all bad thoughts you have. Let it be on the other side. What I need to do is develop a stronger and very, very deeper value systems and converted from value to virtue. Value is that which I respect but not have taken it in. I acknowledge, I respect, I endorse. But virtue is that which I have imbibed, assimilated in me, and that has become my very blood and marrow. In Ramayana, what we see is that characters that have imbibed certain value systems and made it as their virtue, and in other characters it has been made into a vice, V-I-C. Now the character here, the glory of the character of Ramchandraji, Gunagrama, is made for us to recognize what are all the good values that I have, what are all the vices I have, what am I to do with those value systems what I have, and what am I supposed to do with the vices that I have, and what is it that I am looking forward to. Where am I heading towards? What is the goal of my life? Think. A character of a personality decides the destiny of the person. Think. Thoughts form the mind. Mind brings in actions. Actions makes habit. Habits make character, and character decides the destiny. Think. We will continue tomorrow with the beautiful expression of the Rama Nama Guna Grama. Ramchandraji's Guna, how beautifully explained, and this Gunagrama, what can it do to me? That is what is there in this chopai. What can the Gunagrama of Bhagavan Shri Ramchandraji, which is depicted, can do to me, and how can I transform myself? We will see tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.